Hey, Phil here again. Thanks for checking in. And if you haven't yet, you can hit subscribe. And when new videos come out, I will be posting them. Trying to get it so I'm being very consistent on an every other day basis. That's my personal goal. If I can get more out, I will. But I'm going through the series, and the subscribership is starting to go up, and I'm starting to get questions. So I thought I'd throw this video out there to handle an immediate question that I do get into in volume 3, but I think another additional video just to talk about this concept is a good one. And the question was, how do you know what key you're in when you're playing a song? That's a loaded question, all right? It depends on the complexity of the song. So we're not going to go into massive tangents with this video. We're just going to, again, let's keep it simple. The complications will happen on their own as you go further and further and further into studying keys of songs, music theory, modulations, just a variety of different topics that I'm not going to really tackle here. But let's talk about what I consider to be the most basic chord progression there is in music, and I think that's a resounding yes by most of the music community. And it's a 1-4-5 chord progression. Whenever we talk about chords, we use Roman numerals. So the 1 would be a uppercase Roman numeral 1. The Roman numeral 4 is an I with a V, and then the Roman numeral 5 is just a V. So let's just talk about this from a simple standpoint. So we've already addressed the idea of fourths and fifths in the concept of building the different keys of music. Remember, if we build the keys using sharps, we use the pattern of counting by fives. And then if we use the symbols of flats, we count by using the number 4, right? And this was how we built all those different keys. Well, the circle of fourths and fifths can also be used to talk about chord progressions. Because if I'm in the key of C, and I want to know what the 1-4-5 chord progression is for that key, it's very easy to look at that wheel, which I'm going to throw up here. But if you just look at this, if I look at the C chord, and then I count from C, D, E, F, what did I count? How many letters did I count? I counted 4. And so if you look counterclockwise, right next to the C, you see the F. Well, how do I know what the 5 chord is in the key of C? Well, again, it's super easy using the circle of fourths and fifths. C, D, E, F, G, the 5 chord in the key of C is G. So if you see these 3 chords in a song, and typically, not always, but typically the very first chord is C, pretty good chance you're in the key of C playing a 1-4-5 in the key of C. C, that's my 1, 4 is the F, and 5 is the G back to 1. Okay? Simple. Are most songs going to be that way? A good chunk of them are. I'm not saying that they're all going to have just those 3 chords. There could be a variety of different chords within that might be what they call diatonic to the key. And when I say diatonic, dia means within, and tonic means the key. So if I look at all the different chords that are within any key, I'm going to have majors and minors. Remember, I'm going to have 6 chords total like that. I'll have 3 majors and 3 minors in a major key, as well as a minor key. We're not going to talk about all the other modes. Let's just keep this straight and simple and talk about major and minor keys. And then in either the major key, I'm going to have 1 diminished chord, as well as in the minor key, I'll have a diminished chord as well, okay? The diminished chord happens on the 7th scale degree of the major key, and the diminished chord happens on the 2nd scale degree of the minor key, okay? We're not really going to get into the diminished chord right now, though. I just want to deal with 1-4-5s and majors and minors. So let's go to the relative minor of C major, which would be A minor. And if you look again at that circle of fourths and fifths, you're going to see A is right underneath the C. Well, if I count A, B, C, D, I can see that the 4 chord in A minor would be D minor. And then if I go A, B, C, D, E, I see the 5 chord in A minor would be E minor. So my chord progression would be A minor, D minor, E minor, back to A minor. That is the simplest idea that you can have to go, hey, what key am I in? Look for something that's all minor or all major and see if it fits within that circle of fifths, okay? And a side note, know this, that you're going to have songs that will not stick to a key. They may modulate, they may throw in new chords, but what you're looking for in total is what is in general my key. And so if you're looking at the majority of the chords, then you can have this idea of, I'm pretty much in this key, whether it's major or minor. And if they have chords that deviate from the key, maybe it's a brief breaking away. A lot of times when you look at blues, you're going to have, or jazz, you're going to have modulations or changes, or you're going to have the same chord that exists as the chord progression, especially in blues. The dominant 7 chord, the blues chord, is used for the 1, the 4, and the 5. That means if I'm in the key of A, and I play A7, A, B, C, D7, and E7, that would be a 1, 4, 5. Not technically in the key of A, but in the blues key, I'm going to have all those 3 chords be dominant 7 chords. And that would be... more of a funk thing, but I mean, I'm just showing you each one of those chords does not exist in a major or minor key all at the same time. It just doesn't. But that's the blues. Same thing is true when you look at jazz, and that can get really complicated. I'm just throwing this out for ideas. So the reason I want to throw this out is just to talk about the idea of a scale real quick. A pentatonic scale is a scale that kind of deviates from a normal major or minor scale. And so when you're dealing with the blues, the pentatonics tend to work really well because it's in keeping with that blues sound. I know that's a little bit of a rabbit trail from looking at how do I know what key I'm in, but hopefully this answered some of your basic questions about when I'm looking at a chord progression in a song. Does it seem basic enough for me to pigeonhole it into this key? And if it does, you're good enough to say, hey, that's in the key of whatever, okay? Hope that makes sense. I don't want to cause more questions and confusion. I want to keep it straight ahead and simple. If you get this concept down, remember, your goal is to look at 1, 4, 5 chord progressions and see if it matches on the circle in general as you go around. The most common keys that you're going to see guitar players delve into are keys more with the sharps. Okay, it's just because of how the guitar is tuned. If you're dealing with, say, jazz and blues, you're going to find more of those keys are going to be dealing with flats because you, not always, but typically might write something for a horn arrangement. And horns deal with flats. Saxophones, the woodwinds, they deal with the keys of flats. So E flat, F, A flat, D flat, and that's just another rabbit trail. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it's not like, hey, I'm going off all these tangents, but I just want to cover some things so that when you look at something that may not make sense, you can go, oh yeah, I said not everything is going to be perfect or make sense. Just keep that in mind when you're looking at this stuff, okay? Music. You're meant to break the rules. So if you love a song and you look at something and it doesn't make sense to, hey, it's supposed to have all these chords. Why doesn't it have all these chords? Hey man, it's music. People are supposed to be creative with this stuff. And after you learn the rules, you break them. That's the fun part about music. And that's part of the fun of you exploring music and having more creative joy with it as you move forward. I hope that helped. And hey man, hit like. And I'll do my shameless plug for the books again at the end of this because the books are starting to get some good reviews and I'm really looking forward to having an impact out there to help people learn and understand the guitar. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Again, I'm Phil Olson. To purchase the Awesome Guitar Series, click on the link below. It'll take you to Amazon. You can see full descriptions of each one of the volumes. After you've made your purchase and you receive them, go home and practice.